Hi. So now let us see in the MySQL, we have a concept called constraints actually. So that means we are going to have we can put the conditions, we can control the data inserting into the database actually. So whenever you want to insert any data to database, you no need to manually check every time. So by putting some constraints to particular column, so database itself will take care actually. Okay. So that is called constraints. We have different types of constraints out there. Okay. So let us see all these things. First of all, theory about this constraints part. Okay. So here, if you see, the constraint in MySQL is used to specify the rule that allows or restricts what values or data will be stored in the table. That is what, as we told, you are going to make some rules actually for every column. So what kind of data you are going to allow and what kind of data you are going to not allow. So that you are putting as a rule for every column if required actually. Okay. So that is what constraints in MySQL actually. Okay. They provide suitable method to ensure data accuracy, integrity inside the table. Simply you can say. It also helps to limit the type of data that will be inserted inside the table. If any interruption occurs between the constraint and data action, the action is going to be failed. Okay. So let us try to understand this whole discussion in a simple manner. Okay. So here, if you see, we have a different types of constraints, especially two types actually. The one is column level constraint and the table level constraint. So you can put in a column level and a table level actually. This is simple, more or less both of them is same actually. Just for the namesake, we are just mentioning here. Okay. Now, when you can use these constraints actually, when you can create them, how to create them. So when you are creating a table, you can add them. So that means when you are defining the definition of a table, at that time itself, you can create the constraints. Suppose if you not sure when you are creating a table, what constraints you have to use. So maybe later, after creating a table, maybe later you get to know that you have to create a particular constraint and a particular table. So by using the alter table command, again, you can add the constraints to the same table actually. So that is why you can create the constraints when you are creating a table or when by using alter table, you can we can create them actually. Okay. Now, if you see the syntax, so it is very simple, create table, table name. This is normal syntax only for creating a table, column name and its data type. And after that, you just specify the constraint actually, if you want to mention any constraint. So now this is simple part only. Once you see the examples, you will get to know how many constraints we have and for what purpose we are going to have them. Okay. First of all, have a look total constraints and each one we will see separately actually. So you can see the constraints in MySQL is these things. Okay. Total 9 constraints are there. So one is not null. So not null, check, default, primary key, auto increment, unique, index, enum, foreign key. So all these constraints we are going to use for different purposes. So basing on your requirement, accordingly you can choose and you can use them. Okay. And of course, sometimes more than one constraint you can apply on the one column. Okay. It need not be always one constraint. So more than one constraint also you can use them basing on the requirement actually. And mostly these constraints, as name implies, you are going to see actually. This is not big deal actually. Simply, you don't need to remember also, for example, not null. So as name implies, it is not allowing the null values. That's it. Of course, we will see elaborately in the coming lectures. Okay. So overallly, this is what the constraints part, try to understand in simple manner. So you are just defining the rules, okay, in the form of these keywords actually. So those rules you can create while you are creating a table or when you are, you can alter the table also, okay. So let us see these, each keyword, each constraint in separate lectures next actually, okay.